telling the story of my father's life, it's impossible to separate fact from the fiction, the man from the myth. The best I can do is to tell it the way he told me.
Big Fish is a fantasy drama film directed by Tim Burton, released in 2003. The film is based on a 1998 novel, Big Fish, a novel of mythic proportions by Daniel Wallace, and tells the story of Edward Bloom, a man with a penchant for storytelling and larger-than-life tales about his life experiences. The movie features two timelines, the present-day storyline and flashbacks to Edward Bloom's younger days, filled with fantastical and exaggerated stories about his adventures. As Edward's health deteriorates, his estranged son, Will Bloom, tries to reconcile the truth behind his father's extravagant tales. The film features a talented ensemble cast including Ewan McGregor, Albert Finney, Billy Crudup, Jessica Lange, Marion Cotillard, Alison Lohman, and Helena Bonham Carter, among others. The town of Spectre is a fictional location featured prominently in the 2000 film Big Fish. In the movie, Spectre is portrayed as a picturesque and idyllic town with a whimsical, dreamlike atmosphere. Spectre serves as a key setting in the life stories told by Edward Bloom, the film's protagonist. According to Edward's tale, Spectre is a magical place where time seems to stand still. The town is depicted as an enchanting and close-knit community filled with colorful and eccentric characters, unique architecture, and a serene, peaceful ambiance. The set for the town of Spectre was constructed specifically for the film on a private lake in Eutaw, Alabama. Where the set was temporarily and deconstructed after filming, its magical portrayal in Big Fish remains a memorable and integral part of the movie's storytelling, showcasing the fantastical world created by Tim Burton and the filmmakers. Built in 2003 as a set for the movie Big Fish, the fictional town of Spectre is nestled on the banks of the Alabama River. After filming was completed, the property owners on Jackson Lake Island near Millbrook told director Tim Burton to leave the buildings rather than bulldoze them down. The buildings are mostly shells built only for filming exteriors and were not built to code or complete. As time passed, some of the storefronts began to sag and collapse. When the owners tried to clear away the debris, sparks from a fire traveled across and set other buildings on fire. The entire commercial district of Spectre was lost in the blaze. One of the houses had to be torn down after flooding from the river made it unsafe. Scenes from the movie show the town in a pristine state and a depressed state. After the shots were filmed on the pristine Spectre, Burton had set designers distress the church and buildings, making them appear aged and worn. Since these shots were done last, the set was left in this condition after filming, giving the impression the town had been abandoned for decades. Surprisingly, two of the styrofoam trees from the enchanted forest remain mostly intact after 17 years. Today, visitors can still view 6 of the homes, the church, 2 trees from the spooky forest, and the columns from the front of Jenny's house. Even the shoes still hang on a line above the road. The town of Spectre has become a popular destination for tourists and photographers. Jackson Lake Island is open to the public for camping and fishing. The owners hope to refurbish the Spectre film set since public interest remains high. The Mescal movie set, located near Tucson, Arizona, is a historic movie location and Western film set that has been used in various movies, TV shows, and commercials. It is known for its classic Western town setting and has been featured in several productions. One of my favorite movies of all time, Tombstone, was filmed here. It was an absolute disaster to film behind the scenes, and it's amazing how Tombstone finally came to be, but that's a whole other story. The set replicates a typical Western town with buildings representing a saloon, jail, general store, and other structure commonly found in Old West settings. These buildings are often used as backdrops for various scenes in Western films. The set has been maintained over the years and periodically updated and renovated for filming purposes while preserving its authentic Western aesthetic. According to the official website, the film history of the Mescal area dates back over 70 years with scenes from Winchester 73 with Jimmy Stewart, The Big Country with Gregory Peck, and Cimarron with Glenn Ford. The physical set was built as a town in 1968 to 1969 for Monty Walsh, starring Lee Marvin and Jack Palance. This movie mirrors the current situation with the Mescal set. An aging cowboy realizes the West he loves will soon be gone, and there's no room for cowboys like him. Released the same year was the Western comedy Dirty Dingus McGee with legendary Frank Sinatra. Another Hollywood legend graced the set when Elizabeth Taylor filmed Poker Alice. A succession of movies followed, including The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean, starring Paul Newman, The Outlaw Josie Wales with Clint Eastwood, and Tom Horn with Steve McQueen. The 1990s had major big-budget productions, Tombstone, as I mentioned, starring Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, and Sam Elliott, and many other notables, such as Charlton Heston, Harry Casey Jr., and narration by Robert Mitchum. It has become a cult classic and easily the most quoted Western of all time. The Quick and the Dead followed with Hollywood A-listers Sharon Stone, Russell Crowe, Gene Hackman, and a very young Leonardo DiCaprio. Country music fans will recall the 1986 remake of Stagecoach, starring highwaymen including Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson. Mescal was also used in The Gambler with Kenny Rogers. The Mescal set was an alternative town set for many episodes of your favorite Western TV series, including Bonanza, Gunsmoke, The Magnificent Seven, The Little House on the Prairie. Fans will also remember it as the town of Sweetwater in the Young Riders series. Mescal was also a popular site for other movies, including The Sacketts with Tom Selleck, Glenn Ford, and Sam Elliott, Maverick with James Garner, Mel Gibson, and Jodie Foster, and Buffalo Soldiers with Danny Glover. As of Valentine's Day 2021, Mescal became no longer attached to the old Tucson Studios group as a secondary film site. Kirchner Ventures is thrilled to give Mescal a well-deserved facelift and is dedicated to helping bring the film industry back to southern Arizona. The Mescal movie set continues to be a popular location for filmmakers seeking an authentic Western backdrop for their productions. Its historic charm and classic Western town design make it a notable site for movie enthusiasts and tourists interested in the cinematic history of the Old West. The town of Nefta, located in Tunisia, gained attention in the context of Star Wars due to its use as a filming location for the iconic film series. Specifically, Nefta and its surrounding area served as one of the settings for the planet Tatooine, a desert world featured prominently in several Star Wars films. Nefta is the closest town to the famous Star Wars film location of the town of Mos Espa on the planet Tatooine. From Nefta, you can take the road heading north, which will take you to the Mos Espa site. During the filming of The Phantom Menace, there were actually 2 Mos Espa sets. The larger set still remains today for you to explore, but the smaller set was lost due to the shifting Sahara dunes. Nefta and the neighboring locations, such as the Chat El Gerid, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, salt flats, and the desert landscape, were used to depict the arid and otherworldly environment of Tatooine. Various scenes from the original Star Wars trilogy, particularly Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and Star Wars 1, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, were filmed in these Tunisian locations. Mos Espa is a well-known Star Wars filming location in Tunisia. This fictional city is located in the middle of the desert, near Tangier and Nefta, on the edge of the massive sand dunes, and one of the most important movie sets for Star Wars fans to visit on their road trip in this African country. Even if it was just an appearance, of course, you can visit the various houses and see that it is all fake. As soon as you walk into a house or other building, you see the wood and the putty. That's the magic of Hollywood, isn't it? What is striking is that these kind of unique places are not or hardly protected in Tunisia. Numerous parts of the city have already disappeared or been destroyed, which is a shame because the decay is clearly visible, yet it also has its charm because it has certainly not been exploited commercially. A middle way would be nice, but also difficult, considering the weather and the terrain. The expansive salt flats of Chat El Gerid served as the filming location for scenes featuring the Lars homestead and other Tatooine locations, providing the vast desert landscape seen in the films. The ancient fortified granary, or Khazar, located near Nefta, was used as a filming location, notably for slave quarters in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Several other desert locations around Nefta and the surrounding areas were used to portray various scenes set on the desert planet of Tatooine, contributing to unique and otherworldly aesthetic of the Star Wars universe. These Tunisian locations, including Nefta, continue to attract Star Wars fans and tourists interested in visiting the real-life setting that helped bring the fictional world of Tatooine to life on the big screen. Ashford Castle, located in County Mayo, Ireland, is a historic castle and estate that has a rich history dating back to the 13th century. It has been associated with various noble families throughout its centuries-long existence and has undergone several transformations and renovations. Originally built in 1228, by the Anglo-Norman de Burgo family, Ashford Castle has a storied history. Over the century, it passed through the hands of various families and underwent expansions and renovations. The castle was once owned by the Guinness family, famous for their brewing empire. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Guinness family extensively renovated the castle, transforming it into a luxurious estate. Ashford Castle, a historic and luxurious castle located in County Mayo, Ireland, has been a picturesque filming location for several movies over the years. One of the most noble films shot at Ashford Castle is The Quiet Man, directed by John Ford and starring John Wayne and Marion O'Hara. The Quiet Man is a classic 1952 romantic comedy drama set in Ireland. Ashford Castle served as the backdrop for various scenes in the film, including exterior shots of the castle itself, showcasing its stunning architecture and beautiful surroundings. The Purple Taxi is a 1977 French-British comedy film directed by Yves Boisset, I guess. It features an ensemble cast including Charlotte Rampling, Fred Astaire, Peter Ustinov, and Philippe Noiret. In the movie, the Ashford Castle in County Mayo, Ireland serves as one of the filming locations. The castle's picturesque exterior and scenic surroundings were used to depict a luxury hotel setting in the film. The Purple Taxi revolves around a group of misfits who plan to steal a fleet of taxis in France and use them to travel to Ireland. The film's comedic plot includes various adventures and escapades as the characters navigate their way through unusual situations. Ashford Castle appears in The Purple Taxi, added to the film's visual appeal and provided a stunning backdrop for certain scenes, contributing to the movie's charm and ambiance. Remington Steele was a popular American television series that aired from 1982 to 1987. The show starred Stephanie Zimbalist as Laura Holt, a private investigator, and Pierce Brosnan as the charming and mysterious Remington Steele, a character who initially assumes the identity of the fictional Remington Steele to lend credibility to Laura's detective agency. In the episode titled Steele in the News from Season 1, Episode 19, part of the storyline was filmed at Ashford Castle in County Mayo, Ireland. This particular episode involves a murder mystery set in Ireland where Laura and Remington investigate a murder that took place at a castle turned into a luxury hotel. The exterior shots of Ashford Castle were used to depict the castle hotel in the episode. The use of Ashford Castle in Remington Steele added to the show's charm and glamour, utilizing the castle's majestic and historic setting to enhance the storyline's mystery and elegance. The castle's picturesque surroundings provided a fitting backdrop for the series' plot, set in an opulent and intriguing location. Something called The O'Briens from 2013 was filmed there. 2 years after the death of his wife, an Irish father summons home his 2 sons and daughter, causing all to fear the worst, but he is not the only one with a secret. I never heard of it. In more recent years, the castle has been used as a set for French Court in the CW's hit medieval drama Reign. The castle and surrounding grounds figure prominently in the first 3 seasons of the drama, with the cast and crew returning on a yearly basis to film on the estate. Much of Reign has been filmed in the village of Cong, where sites like the beautiful picturesque Ashford Castle has provided the backdrop. Additionally, the castle's historic charm and beautiful landscape have made it an appealing location for commercials, TV shows, and various promotional shoots, adding to its cinematic legacy and allure as a filming destination. Today, Ashford Castle operates as a luxury 5-star hotel and resort. It offers high-end accommodations, fine dining, extensive grounds, recreational activities such as golf and falconry, whatever the hell that is, and a spa. Ashford Castle stands as an iconic landmark in Ireland, renowned for its history, luxury, and stunning setting. It is associated with films, and its statue as a luxurious hotel make it a sought-after destination for travelers seeking a blend of history, elegance, and modern amenities. The Hunger Games is a popular dystopian novel series written by Suzanne Collins. The first book, titled The Hunger Games, was published in 2008, followed by the 2009 Catching Fire, 2010 Mockingjay. The series is set in a post-apocalyptic world where the government, known as the Capitol, rules over districts of Panem. The story follows Katniss Everdeen, a young girl from District 12 who volunteers to take her sister's place in the annual Hunger Games, a televised event where children from each district are forced to fight to the death as a form of entertainment and control by the Capitol. Katniss becomes a symbol of rebellion against the oppressive government as she challenges the Capitol's authority and fights for survival. The series delves into themes of oppression, survival, sacrifice, and the consequences of war. It gained widespread popularity popularity and acclaim for its engaging storyline, complex characters, and thought-provoking social commentary. The success of the novels led to a highly successful film series starring Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen. In Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games trilogy, District 12 is one of the 12 impoverished districts existing in the dystopian nation of Panem. It is located in the coal-rich region and is known for its mining industry. District 12 is depicted as one of the poorest and most desolate districts, with its residents facing extreme poverty and hardship. The protagonist of the series, Katniss Everdeen, hails from District 12. She lives with her mother and younger sister, Primrose, in the impoverished Seam, the poorest area within the district. Katniss becomes the primary provider for her family by hunting illegally in the surrounding woods and trading her catches in the black market of District 12. Life in District 12 is harsh, and its inhabitants endure difficult living conditions. The citizens are subject to the oppressive rule of the capital, and they must also contend with the annual Hunger Games, where two tribes, one male and one female from each district, are chosen to fight to the death in a televised spectacle as a form of punishment and control imposed by the capital. Throughout the series, District 12 serves as a focal point representing the struggles of the oppressed district and becoming a symbol of resistance and rebellion against the capital's tyranny, largely due to the actions and defiance of Katniss Everdeen. The slums of District 12 from this film were already abandoned 1920s textile community in Henry River Mill Village in North Carolina. While the Henry River area was known for its water power as early as 1860, the most relevant historical significance came from the purchase and development of the land in the early 1900s. The Adderholt and Rudsell families partnered to establish the Henry River Manufacturing Company, which was a cotton yarn manufacturer that opened its doors in 1905 during its initial operation. The company erected 35 worker houses, a two-story boarding house, a bridge, a brick company store, a power-producing dam, and the original three-story brick mill building where the yarn was produced. Until 1914, all operations were fully powered by water power. This was later converted to steam power and electricity as technology advanced and upgrades were made to increase production. By 1963, the company had tripled its initial production from 1905, but due to economic pressure from overseas, the textile industry had already begun a hard downward spiral until the mill ceased operation shortly after. In 1977, just after Wade R. Shepard purchased the property, the main mill building burned to the ground after a believed lightning strike, but the community still prevailed. In fact, many former residents of the village recollect the last native moving out of the village in the late 1990s or early 2000s. That's sometimes difficult to comprehend since the village still has no running water and no sewer system. Henry River is an example of history that seems so distant, yet it can still be seen, touched, and heard with our own eyes and ears. While stories can vary in detail from one village resident to another, one theme seems to stay intact: community. Throughout the entire history of the Henry River Mill Village, there is story after story, example after example of village residents coming together in a time of need to help one another. Henry River was more than a group of workers that happened to live in the same neighborhood, raising their families and minding their own business. Instead, Henry River became a large family, better yet, a village network that valued the strengths they had as a community over the strengths they had as individuals.